Good evening and welcome to Parashat Vayera. The world that we live in really has this never-ending to-do list, which seems to be growing every single day. So many things we have to do. A couple of years back, many thought that the answer was something called multitasking. That's the key to unlock productivity. Do many things at once. And if you do many things at once, you can accomplish much more in less time. But there's a lot of recent studies that suggest that actually multitasking is not the best way. The journal Nature published a study that showed there was a correlation between multitasking and memory. People who were engaged in different tasks while they were working actually performed lower on memory questions related to what their primary task was. Forbes magazine summarized this and stressed really that the goal should be to focus on one task and reach something that is known as a flow state. What does that even mean? It was a concept developed by a psychologist whose name is almost unpronounceable when you spell it out, but his name was Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi. He was a distinguished professor of psychology in Claremont Graduate University. And in 1975, the year before I was born, he suggested that if you can get into a certain zone that balances challenge and skill, you can reach a state of absolute absorption, of total razor-sharp focus, and you can lose a sense of time. In this week's parasha, Abraham towards the end is commanded about the Akedah, that 10th test where Hashem calls out to him and asks him to slaughter his beloved son Yitzchak, Isaac. The Torah tells us, Vayomer elav Abraham, Vayomer hineni. In that introduction to that command, he called out to Abraham, and Abraham said, Hineni, behold, I am here at your service. As Abraham is about to slaughter Yitzchak, towards the end of that episode, an angel, a malach of Hashem, calls out to Abraham, Vayikra elav malach min hashamayim, Vayomer Avraham, Avraham, Vayomer hineni. So the commentaries ask, why did the first call to Abraham require that his name be mentioned once, whereas the second call required that his name be mentioned twice? So the great Kliakar of Prague has a number of answers. One of which is this. He says, שבשעה שעסק במצוות העקדה, בנו היה כל כך טרוד במצווה לגומרה כהלכתה שלא היה ניתן לב לכל הקריאה. Abraham was so focused on the task in front of him that even though an angel was calling out to him, he had to call him twice to get his attention. Rabbi Joshua Flug related that once there was a group of people who were asking the great former rabbi of Yerushalayim, Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, various questions. And one of them asked him, is it appropriate to stop learning Torah to make a blessing, a bracha on lightning and thunder? And Rosh Shlomo Zalman responded, if you're learning Torah, how would you see the lightning? Or how would you even hear the thunder? This may seem so beyond us, so far out of reach. But I think with the right conditions and with perhaps a honed and skilled level appropriate challenge, many of us can get in the zone. And in many aspects of lives where we have distractions, they could be naturally blocked out. And maybe indeed if we did so, we'd be so much more productive, achieving that incredible new concept of the golden flow state. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.